Hello everyone and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. So in the last episode, we got bound to the will of Father Ulrich. So now that's a thing. I got all of my willpower back, but there was some cost I had to endure in the process, specifically another death. So now we're going to go ahead and continue forward and see what else we can find out. There was a lot of events towards the end that caused some power changes as far as the Inquisition, excuse me, the Inquisition goes versus the new faith. But we'll see if we can continue on forward now with miracles and wonders. You've not had any serious cases since the investigation of Father Leonard's print shop and the Latari Society. The only matter that currently warrants the Inquisition's presence in the province is the ongoing struggle between the old faith and the new. Did Abbot Leonard lie to you about Patriarch Cassius' heresy? There's a knock at the door. Father Ulrich has left the province for now, so all petitioners are coming to you. You set your thoughts aside and focus your gaze on the visitor. A middle-aged nobleman enters your office. His jacket is decorated with large sewn-on beads. He states his name, Carl El Capo, and claims to have run afoul of magic. Sir El Capo owns a village by the name of... He owns the village? Okay. Name of Gracinia. The harvests there are abundant, and all plants and trees take root with amazing success. The villagers claim it is a blessing from the twins, but Sir El Capo thinks otherwise. The nobleman claims that Sister Aradella, the village priestess, is a witch. People have seen plants and trees blossom and bear fruit at her touch. Here in barren Magra, with its lifeless soil. A pious man, Sir El Capo does not want to shelter a witch who corrupts his property with her ungodly sorcery and feeds its cursed fruit to his men. You carefully write down the nobleman's every word, then leave for Gracinia at once, escorted by a squad of champions. Even from the high road, the village is striking. The trees, the grass, the flower bed. It's all green. Only nobles can afford such luxury in Anazet, and they import fertile soil for their gardens at great expense. You grew up among greenery, but your family garden had nothing this green and lush. You come to a halt next to a small, well-tended little house. A tall, slender young woman dressed in the black cassock comes to greet you. This can only be Sister Aradella. She looks at you, her eyes the brightest shade of emerald green. Greetings, Inquisitor. Please, come in. As unexpected as your visit must be, the young woman shows no fear whatsoever. You tell the champions of faith to remain outside for now. Aradella takes you to the backyard of her home, a beautiful verdant garden. So, Inquisitor Romulus, have you come to proclaim the miracle? What? What miracle? Aradella smiles. She gestures to the flowers and trees growing all around. Why, just look, it's a miracle. A vast garden has appeared here, all thanks to our hard work and prayers to the twins. There's no garden like it anywhere else in Magra, except for those with imported soil. I've prayed for this ever since I was a little girl. It all started when I prayed for my mother's flowers not to die, and as soon as I touched the soil with a prayer on my lips, it became soft and the flowers grew strong. I've been doing it all my life. I just pray, touch the earth, and the soil lives again. This is why I became a priest. I wanted to use my gift from the twins for the good of the people. I went to Patriarch Cassius and he guided me towards the priestly lot and sent me back home to Gracinia. And now our life here has become truly wondrous. Thank the twins. I knew you'd come. I just knew it. Who else should proclaim this miracle from the twins if not the Inquisition? Yeah, I don't think you know what the Inquisition means. Aradella whispers a prayer to the heavens and touches a green stalk. It responds to her touch with a little bud. A moment later, a beautiful flower unfurls to greet you. The girl turns to you. There is great expectation in her eyes, and sparks of verdant green. You try your best to let her down gently. This wonder is different from the miracles worked by the twins. In fact, it is the opposite. The young woman's power comes from heretical magic, a distortion of the law of creation, an act abhorrent to the twins. The priestess's face expresses confusion, then terror. How can you say such a thing? My power comes from the twins. I know it. I serve them. I bring their blessings into this world. I was guided to the priestly lot by Patriarch Cassius himself. He couldn't have been mistaken. He'd never lie to me like that. Oh boy, he would. You are not yet ready to say why the Patriarch would do this, but as for Aradella herself, she must be collared and sent to the House of Humility, where all witches and mages of the Empire belong. There she will be stripped of her lot and her free will to serve the Empire and its people as an instrument of the Church. The priestess is shocked. She cannot move. Tears begin to stream down her cheeks. No, you can't do this. How? Nothing will grow in Gracinia without me. This village, it will die, and my entire garden along with it. The young woman falls to her knees, weeping. She folds her arms across her chest and begins to mutter. You can barely distinguish her words between her sobs and tears, but eventually you realize that she is praying. Although she believed herself to be a holy woman, Aradella was in fact transgressing against the divine law. She must be punished, so saith the younger. And yet she has devoted her powers to a good cause, utterly unaware that what she was doing was was wrong. However, there is another question. Why would Cassius allow her to use magic in the name of the twins? It could not have been a mistake. The Patriarch intentionally set her on this heretical path. But why would he commit such sacrilege? To what end? Perhaps Father Leonard's report was not unfounded after all. The time for pondering is at an end. You must act. Aradella's fate is in your hands. Well, I can't save her. If I did save her, the Inquisition's power would go down by 1, but the wealth of my family would go up by 2. And scheming will go up by 1. I don't have enough scheming for that. If I have her executed, the tolerance of faith will go down to 0. The reputation of my family will go up by 1, and diplomacy will go up by 1. If I proclaim this occurrence a miracle of the twins, the wealth of Margaret will go up by 1. The Inquisition's power will go down by 1. The tolerance of faith will go up by 1. My theology will go up by 1. And my manipulation will go up by 1. If I subdue her, the Inquisition power will go up by 1. Tolerance of faith will go down by 1. Eloquence will go up by 1. Well, shit. This is the difficult one. I do like that reputation of the family going up, but the tolerance of faith going down by 1. Oof. And that's gonna happen either way. Well, shoot. I don't think I'm gonna pick this. Because I don't want the Inquisition's power to go down anymore. So, do I want my family's power to go up? Want my family's reputation to go up? Or do I want to just subdue her and bring the tolerance of faiths completely down to 0? This is tough. Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one. I'm gonna get an event either way, so let's see if I can get some reputation out of this. Have her executed. You leave Aradella to weep in her garden and shout for the champions of faith. Shackle the girl, you say. You are taking her to Anazet to be executed. Horrified, the villagers watch the soldiers drag the priestess to your carriage in chains. The women scream. The children bawl. Several men try to fight their way to Aradella, but the champions of faith keep them away. You barely avoid a confrontation as you leave Gracinia. Back in the city, you order preparations to be made for Aradella's execution. Everything must be done quickly before the Patriarch can intervene. Later that night, in the square of the Inquisition ward, the people of Anazet begin to gather. They say nothing. They are here to watch the ritual purging of corruption from this land. The young woman is bound to a wooden stake and surrounded by kindling. In a loud voice you proclaim the sentence. The witch Aradella shall undergo the ritual of purifying flame. May it cleanse this land of her abhorrent magic. The flames grow reluctantly. The wood produces smoke rather than fire. You close your eyes and begin to recite a prayer. The champions of faith join in, and soon everyone in the square is chanting. Glory be to the younger, defender of the world and the shining pillar. Glory be to the law he has bestowed upon us. Glory be to the order he protects. May he bless our deeds. May he preserve us from corruption and lawlessness. May his strength abide with us. But the choir of voices cannot drown out Aradella's screams as she dies her true death in the flame. You hear a distant cry. Several priests run up to the pyre. Cassius is among them. The patriarch is panting, drenched in sweat. Stop this! End this now, I beg of you. It is too late. Aradella screams no longer, her body limp at the wooden stake, consumed by the blaze. By the light of the dancing flames, you swear you see tears in the patriarch's eyes. One of the priests puts an arm on Cassius's shoulder. We should leave, Cassius. There's nothing else we can do. The patriarch leaves the square, his head bowed. The crowd disperses. The fire dies down. Sir El Capo returns the next morning. He has come to thank you. The Inquisition reacted so swiftly to his report. He is impressed by your resolve in dealing with this evil. At first, he had feared that the woman's comely appearance might cloud my judgment. You are indifferent to the nobleman's flattery. Flattery. You made this decision for the sake of the twins, to cleanse the world of the taint of magic. A human life is a small price to pay for such a lofty goal. All right, tolerance of faith is now at a 0, and we have reprisal against the new faith. My family is back to a modest, well, we're still in a modest position, but we're at a 5 now. And I am influential now as far as diplomacy goes. It's a funny way to get diplomacy, but all right. And here we are. Knight of Sword and Lash. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Tolerance of faith, 0. You are awakened in the middle of the night by loud noises and shouting. You quickly slip on your cassock and run outside. You smell something burning. People with torches in their hands run past you wearing capes bearing the symbol of the Church of the Twin Gods. Several buildings on your streets are ablaze, the homes of new believers. The torch-bearing crowd is moving toward the silver tree. You dart after them as fast as your legs can carry you. At the next corner, you stumble upon a brawl. 3 armed men have surrounded a man with gray hair wearing a bathrobe. A young man lays on the ground at his feet, bleeding, his son presumably. You see encircled crosses on the murderer's clothing. You run through the city, fires and skirmishes all around you. It is as though a war has broken out and some unknown enemy has infiltrated Anazet, but these enemies dwell within the city itself. Houses are burning. There is shouting, weeping, blood everywhere. I didn't notice that the top of this was burnt too. A family with many children is tearing through the square in a panic. A wounded man is lying in the street screaming for help. No one notices him. Under a street light, you see the bodies of those who have died a true death stacked up like cordwood. You run, avoiding any altercations. When you reach the square under the silver tree, you see an immense angry crowd. They have surrounded the temple. Heretics, heresy, heresy, death to the heretics. In the spot where Patriarch Photis died stands a delicate brunette in a hood. She is brandishing a torch and calling out to the crowd. Catherine Terrellman? The time has come to purge this sacred place of the false teachings of Photis. The Church and the Inquisition tolerate their lies, but we will not allow the heretics to desecrate the Temple of the Silver Tree with their presence. The woman points at the temple. We will go against our lot and accept the punishment but we will purge the city of heresy. Lady, that's pretty stupid, but alright. Her appeal is met with vigorous cheers. The crowd starts moving. Abbot Leonard and his flock have locked themselves in the temple, but the gate will not hold the angry crowd back for long. Let me see. I can let the fanatics take over the temple. The new faith persecuted. Wealth of Margaret will go down by 1. Order will go down by 1. The church will go down by 1. The Inquisition power will go down by 2. Willpower will go down by 10. Or I can admonish the angry crowd, and I will get a freaking death. The new faith persecuted. Church will go down by 1. Wealth of Margaret will go down by 1. The Inquisition power will go down by 1, but my death will go up by 1. And I can't lead the new believers out because I don't have scheming. Wonderful. But I would have lost wealth, reputation, and unity, so I probably would have done that anyway. Well, this is a sucky choice. But that's the one thing about these choices. Typically when it goes to either extreme, it's always a sucky choice. Every time. I'm gonna choose this. I'm gonna let the fanatics take over the temple. Because I don't want to die. I don't need the extra death. And I'm gonna lose 10 willpower, which really sucks. And the Inquisition power is gonna go down to 5. But yeah, sure. You are powerless to stop this. The crazed horde breaks down the temple door. The fanatics take the books out of the temple. Their clothes are stained with blood. They leave red trails behind them as they tread on the white marble of the square. A massive pyre is lit in front of the silver tree. The books are thrown into it. Father Leonard tries to bring the people to their senses, but his voice is drowned out by the enraged roar of the crowd. Burn the false prophet's writings. May the fire cleanse the blessed Archnean empire of heresy. The temple district burns all night long. The mayhem winds down by morning. It leaves behind houses burned to the ground and families grieving for the loss of loved ones. It leaves behind black bands on many arms and the graves of those who were not reborn. It leaves an enormous burned spot in the square by the temple. It leaves an emptiness in your soul. The people haven't forgotten us for our inaction. We have allowed this heresy to fester for far too long. We are the reason they acted so horribly. This is all our fault. Oh, okay. So yeah. Magra is in misery and devastation. There's discontent. But, you know, the old faith is strong, so there's that. And the order is strengthening. So yeah, we're back to 5. So we're going to have to try and get this back all the way up. So we need +5 in order to get this all the way back up and be in the right position. Also, I cannot die. If I die, I'm screwed. And I'm prepared for anything, but I lost 10 as far as my willpower goes. Year 1141, the procession of the tree to the tree. A holy day is coming, a day when the entire empire thanks the twins for the silver tree, the sign they left behind as a reminder of their eternal presence in this world. This momentous occasion is especially important for Anazet, but the clergy cannot agree on how best to celebrate it. Father Leonard has called for all worshippers of the twins to approach the temple of the silver tree and kneel before the sacred relic, but the old clergy balks at the idea of Leonard and the new believers leading the ritual. The day has come. An immense crowd is moving in a procession towards the temple near the silver tree, where Father Leonard awaits. But an inquisitor by the name of Jean stands in their way. She strikes a defiant pose. Confronted by a member of the Holy Order of the Inquisition, the procession reluctantly stops. People, turn back. Those who attend Leonard's rite will succumb to the new faith. Those who reject the lots will defy their divine design. You're about to bring the wrath of the gods down upon us all. Open your eyes, go back to your homes and pray to the twins. The procession wants to move, but the people are confused, until Father Leonard himself walks out of the temple to meet Jean face to face. People of Anazet, no one has the right to deny you the sacred ritual of worshiping at the tree, not even the Inquisition. Is such a denial not more likely to provoke the wrath of the twins? The Inquisition must know that the new faith does not seek to challenge or defy the twins. We are merely trying to correct the mistakes of those who came before us. We do not anger the twins, we merely vex those who refuse to accept the dawn of a new age. Jean finds herself between a rock and a hard place. Seeing that she has no other choice, she lets the procession pass. The new faith's numbers have swelled of late. It cannot be stopped now. See, it's moments like this where I don't understand how certain things happen, because you just had this violent, situation happen, but now you have the new faith again rising up. So, okay. Also, where the hell is the champions of the faith? The Festival of the Silver Tree. Today is an important holiday. The entire empire is celebrating the Festival of the Silver Tree, which commemorates the parting gift of the twin gods, the divine sapling they planted in our mortal world. In the middle of Anazet, the families of the city spend the day in peace and quiet, contemplating the divine roots that join together all people, their bloodlines, and the entire empire. Mother always oversees this holiday. The day before the festival, she seemed to have shaken off her usual apathy and engaged in preparation with excitement. It was as though her illness has loosened its grip. I feel like she's gonna die in this playthrough. Mother gathers the entire family for the holiday meal. Father is in high spirits today, sharing jokes with you and Nathan. Stefan is trying to suppress an atypical agitation. Gloria is the last to join you at the table. She is wearing new breeches with high stockings and a yellow vest. Gloria, you wearing men's clothes again? No, Mother, I'm wearing clothes women are forbidden to wear. Father gives Gloria a stern look. Stefan rolls his eyes but says nothing. Suddenly, Nathan speaks up. A few days ago in the market, I saw a grocer dressed as Overseer Gaius Tempest. He had a huge carrot for a scepter. He got a sound drubbing, of course, but until then, it was quite a hoot. Everybody laughs at the ridiculous story, relieved. Even Gloria has a smile on her face when she sits down. The feast commences. Your home finally feels warm for a moment. It wasn't so long ago the four of you couldn't even reach up to this table. The first word you said, Gloria, was gimme. Nathan used to cling to my skirt all the time, almost tearing it. And you, Romulus, you couldn't talk at all yet, but your piercing stare was so expressive, it felt as if you were talking to me. Mother looks at Stefan and suddenly grows quiet. When I met Stefan, he was already 3 years old. He was so serious and a smooth talker to boot. I remember that he had a music teacher, but he was too shy to play in front of me, so I used to listen from the next room. Stefan's face twitches. Your elder brother rises and moves to the old harpsichord. His fingers fly gracefully over the keys. A melody fills the house, melancholy and sweet. The last note lingers in the air, then silence falls. The family is awestruck. Words fail you all. Who wrote that? A nobleman from the capital? Between drinking a glass of wine and beating a servant. Your sister's cutting remark puts an end to the warm, cozy atmosphere. Stefan calmly turns to face her. No, it was I who composed this piece of music. It is called Mother. Mother rises to her feet. She would have needed help to do this just recently, but now she treads unassisted towards Stefan and draws him close. Stefan puts his arms around his stepmother's waist, then detaches himself awkwardly. May the twin gods bless you, Lydia. Gloria considers this scene with thinly veiled fury in her eyes. Of course, highborn nobles like Stefan are made for the arts. They are the only ones lucky enough to have a soul and experience inspiration. Unlike us, the lowborn, we aren't supposed to feel anything but suffering, let alone express it in poetry. Everyone notices that Gloria is clutching the pages filled with writing, her poems. Your sister casts a mournful glance at the family, and her eyes rest on you, of course, because no one can do anything their damn selves around here. Okay, so if I do this, the unity will go up by 1, my manipulation will go up by 1, and Gloria will go down by 1. If I interrupt Gloria, things will go down by 1. Stefan will go up by 1. Alright, so I'm just going to appeal to Mother, because I need the unity to be higher. So yeah. You walk up to Mother, take her hand in yours, and whisper in her ear. It is time for her to interfere and save the family celebration. Mother nods understandingly. Gloria, my dear child, since you were little, I taught you to care for your soul. But if I fail to convince you, please think about the family that took us in. I implore you, do not take on noble activities. Do not infringe upon the divine order. Gloria's face flushes red with fury. She clasps the pages to her chest. That's right, Mother. Since I was little, do you think I'm not reminded of it with every breath I take? Of all the things I'm forbidden to do because I'm lowborn? My dear girl, listen to me. There is more to life than you and your aspirations. You are a member of the Brante family, and our family is part of a greater universe. Your actions affect all of us. We are not isolated. We are being watched by the city, by the empire, by the twin gods themselves. So I'm not allowed to bear your name, but I still have to bear all the responsibilities that come with it. What hypocrisy. Gloria runs out of the room, outraged and tearful. The family is left dumbfounded. Finally, Stefan speaks. I hope, Lydia, that you can still make her see reason. Your words were wise. Let us heed them ourselves. The celebration continues despite Gloria's absence. Oh boy, this family, my God. I mean, I understand Gloria's consternation. This world is really shit, but it's also one of these things too, where it's like you have to think beyond yourself for once. She never thinks beyond herself. Like, she just constantly has to be the person that cause problems. And I'm not saying Stefan doesn't do it either, but Jesus, a lot of times, like, she can just let stuff go. I just wish there was someone else that could take on the responsibility that I have to take on in this family. All right, so +1. And another +1. I am now clever. Was Father even at the dinner now that I think about it? The Emperor's heirs in danger. News from the capital quickly reaches every corner of the Empire. Gerion and Flavius, the heirs to the throne, have left the Emperor's palace for the province of Monia, which is ruled by great Chancellor Monroe. The great Chancellor has accused the Emperor's court of harboring malefactors conspiring against the imperial heirs. That is why he has offered them shelter and safety in his own impregnable citadel. The common people are particularly worried by the news. They take it as a sign that the Chancellor is seeking to solidify his power by holding the heirs hostage. If this continues, Monroe could coerce the Emperor into revoking the imperial law, thus depriving the common estate of any and all rights. All hope for reform in the Empire has vanished. From farmer to rich industrialist, the commoners are growing desperate. In your province, the authorities are trying their best to put the people at ease. The magistrate of Anazet makes a speech from his balcony to the excited crowd below. Trust in your emperor, good people. The imperial heirs are the future of the Great Tempest dynasty. The emperor has made the wise decision to send them far away from the scheming court. Great Chancellor Monroe will take good care of them and keep them safe. All glory to the Empire. All glory to the Tempest. Alright, well, Margaret continues to go down. There is now a struggle for power. Peacetime ends soon. Examine possible chapter endings to check which way you are headed. To achieve the goal that you've chosen, you have to meet all the conditions at the end of the chapter. So, I can get this still. Inquisition in power, but I need it to be at 10. And I don't think I'm in much of a position for that right now. Cassius faces tribunal. I need it to be at a 7, and I need to have evidence against Cassius. How much you want to bet that I'm going to have to die in order to try and get that evidence? Cassius overthrown. Tolerance of faith. What? With your aid, the new believers force Patriarch Cassius from his sacred post. Oh, okay. All-powerful Ulrich. Ulrich bends the city to his will. The Inquisition power just has to be at 10. Torch of the New Faith. The new believers zealots exact vigilante justice against the enemies of their doctrine. Okay. So yeah, I want to get this, but I can't die again. But I also wonder, like, how do these work out? Can I get the Shadow of the Wheel? Can I get the, Oh no, this will cause the collapse of the Inquisition, so I don't need this. And I don't need that. Oh, okay, so I can't get this. So that's good. Cassius faces the tribunal. Can't get that either. At least not right now. I could possibly get the all-powerful Ulrich. And I can't get that either. So I can either get the Shadow of the Will or all-powerful Ulrich. And I really want this. The Trail of Sorcery. Since the incident with the priestess Aradella, Patriarch Cassius has mostly retreated from the public eye and stopped preaching. A coincidence? No one can say for sure. Not all witches and mages resemble the pious Aradella. You still remember Brian, this young boy who went to your school. If you and Thomas had not stopped him, he would have burned that school to the ground. You cannot help but think the Patriarch may be aiding mages and offering them shelter. The very thought makes you uneasy. You share your concerns with Jean and Father Ulrich. Your mentor nods in support. I have seen this before. Junius Diamant, the Patriarch of Astinia, attempted to protect a couple of sinners once. There was a priest who was rutting with a witch, and Junius tried to protect them. So perhaps you're right, Romulus. Perhaps our Cassius has a soft spot for those abhorrent degenerates as well. I say we should investigate. You exchange glances with Jean. Both of you still recall that tribunal in Interna 5 years ago. It's a shame the Order has no way to secretly gather information about the parishes that support the Patriarch. Everyone in those parishes knows each and every Inquisitor by sight. I intend to ask the Secret Chancellery for aid. This should be a simple matter for them. Undercover outlaws who challenge and undermine the Emperor's sacred rule, rebels who pose a threat to the Twins' blessed order of the present. The Secret Chancellery wages war on all these foes. You know very little about their other activities. The Order and the Secret Chancellery decide to work together. For the long year that follows, they painstakingly search for clues and investigate rumors. You examine each and every parish in Magra, trying in vain to find other mages sheltered by the Patriarch, if such mages even exist. You lose nearly all hope of success, but then one winter night, your efforts are finally rewarded. The sunset outside the window has turned to dusk, but Jean still has not returned to the ward. Normally, she would tell you if she were doing something after hours. You grow worried. Seeking reassurance, you approach the champions of the faith who stood guard for the day and ask them when they last saw Sister Jean. Oh, why Sister Jean left early this morning to help the Secret Chancellery. Their agent ran up to her at the doorstep. He gave her a sealed note, and they drove away together. He said it was important. They say they found the trail of a runaway mage somewhere on the western edge of the city, in the warehouses and the old city walls. I say you shouldn't worry. We check a dozen such rumors from their agents every month, but we've never found anything. Despite the captain's assurances, you remain apprehensive. You tell Agaron to gather the champions and check on her. You go to the western edge of Anazet. There are almost no residential buildings there, just ruins and workhouses. In fact, it can be quite hard to tell one from the other. As the half-crumbled wall on the edge of the city draws near, you feel your heart beat with greater urgency. Your apprehension grows. You come to the warehouse. The door is smashed in, ripped off the hinges. The inside is splattered with blood. You see wrecked furniture and soot. An intense battle was fought here. By the basement stairs, you find a small pile of scorched clothes, the last remnants of someone's lesser death. It looks nothing like Jean's cassock, thank the twins. There is something on the lapel of the charred jacket, a brooch in the shape of a wheel. This belonged to an agent of the secret chancellery. One floor below you, you hear a blow followed by a woman's muffled moan. Jean could be down there. Captain Agaron nods. Like a prayer, he whispers the usual words. Inquisitor Romulus, you are a weapon, and I now must wield. Strike my enemies down until I tell you otherwise. At this order, the champions of faith move out. Their heavy boots thunder down the stairs to the basement. You run down behind them. A tunnel, low and dark. Jean is there, surrounded by half a dozen figures. Her face is bruised, her lips cracked, her eyes barely open. Her cassock shows several knife cuts soaked with blood. The unknown thugs turn to face you. They have gunpowder weapons. Ooh, shit. Shots explode in the dark. Swords flash like bolts of lightning. Screams. One of them summons magical fire in his hands. You clutch hard at a thin silver slab with a prayer to the younger, and the magical flames are doused as the silver melts in your hand. You continue the whispered prayer, staring straight into the mage's eyes. At this moment, in this place, it feels easier than ever to invoke the younger's ruthless law. The mage glances around as the champions of faith push the outlaws back despite the flurry of explosive shots. The rebels' weapons are too slow to reload, and in close combat, they are clearly weaker. The mage turns tail and runs away down a long, dark tunnel. You glance back at Jean. Blood still oozes from her wounds, but more slowly now. Her eyes has fallen on her chest. Her eyes are closed. Okay. I can chase the mage. The Inquisition will gain 1 power, and Jean will get +1. Or I can heal Jean. My willpower will go up by 5, and Jean's opinion of me will go up by 1. Well, either way, it goes up by 1. I have a nice amount of willpower, and I don't lose any willpower. Plus, I need the Inquisition to get more power, so let's continue. You leave the narrow room and the fighting behind and run after the mage. The tunnel ends in a pile of rubbish concealing a secret passage. Once you emerge outside, you pray to the younger once again. Grant me the strength to smite my enemy. Bind him with the power of the law. The silver melts away at your fingertips. Another thin slab of twins' blessed metal has been sacrificed. But they hear your prayer and grant you the power to perform a miracle. A white glow surrounds the mage, binding him, depriving him of the ability to move. He falls down on the road, unable to move or speak. He's scrawny, apparently an adolescent. The champions of faith emerge behind you, battered and scarred from the fight, pushing the bound outlaws ahead of them. Jean is nowhere to be seen. You meet Captain Agaron's eyes. He slowly shakes his head. Jean has died a lesser death, but the sinful mage has been caught. The secret chancellery takes you captive away for questioning. Takes your captive away for questioning. Is Patriarch Cassius involved in this? You can only hope that you will learn the answer soon enough. Jean returns to the Inquisition ward the next morning. She meets your awkward greeting with a smile. Then all of a sudden, she grabs you by the arm of your cassock. There's something I wanted to tell you, but not here. Let's go somewhere else, maybe the yard. The yard of the ward is full of sunlight and thick lilac in bloom. No window can see you from behind the lilac trees. I wanted to tell you not to worry about what happened to me. You did the right thing. You caught him. The cost doesn't matter. Our lives are given to us to serve. Her fingers are still there, holding you by the sleeve. You both notice this at the same time. Jean's cheeks grow pink. Softly, you put your hand over hers. You feel as though you are a child under the silver tree again. Her hand rests in yours. You stand like this until the bell rings for the noon sermon. Jean pulls her hand away and looks at you. Her face shows embarrassment, fear, and joy? She takes a step backward, then another, her eyes still meeting yours. Then she quickly turns away and hurries inside, her hand clutched to her chest. And now Jean has affection for me. So if I get one more, we'll be maxed out. And the order is strengthening again, but I need more. I need so much more. Revelation. It has been several months since Jean was rescued from the insurgents. You learned that the mage hunted by the secret chancellery was a rebel, a member of a clandestine society who took refuge in a local parish. Father Ulrich took it upon himself to personally interrogate the abbot of the parish. The priest confessed to the crime. He even confirmed that Patriarch Cassius was involved. According to the abbot, he accepted the mage as an acolyte at the parish after the patriarch vouched for him personally. However, you are aware of the methods Father Ulrich employs to extract his confessions. The abbot's words may be far from truth. You cannot help but suspect that Ulrich made the abbot lay all the blame on Cassius for his own mysterious reasons. Jean, on the other hand, is more eager than ever to believe that the patriarch is guilty. We must put Cassius on trial before the new sacred conclave. The patriarch stands before the twins, and they will judge our entire flock based on him. If the newly chosen patriarch is a heretic, who knows what blasphemous obscenities he will utter in their presence. The evidence you have is not enough to bring the patriarch to trial. However, Ulrich intends to use your information to destroy Cassius's public image and his support among the clergy. Your sacred mission is looking more and more like a dirty political game, and you find this sickening. Desperate for a change of scenery, you seek solace in a walk through the familiar alleyways of Anazet. You notice something different. An unusual number of the people on the streets of Anazet are armed. Not just nobles, even commoners have defied their lot by carrying small hatchets and clubs tucked in their belts. Father spoke of this at the dinner table last night. The city gendarmes are unable to maintain order on the streets. The commoner members of the lesser quorum are calling for the common folk to fight for their rights, while the nobles are mired in the ongoing struggle between Archduke Tarquinius Millenatus and the imperial overseer Gaius Tempus. You feel uneasy. People are beginning to challenge Isoteus' vision of the lots. Too many now reject the divine law that brought order to the empire by shackling its subjects' destinies to the lots. The empire is changing, and you cannot help but feel a sense of foreboding, as though some dreadful world-shaking event is about to take place. Do not remember how your legs guided you to the silver tree. As always, a profound sense of tranquility descends upon you. You close your eyes and whisper words of gratitude. As you pray, you hear a loud voice in the distance. A monk you have never met is preaching. The most sorrowful thing that happened when the twins descended to our world was their deaths on opposite shores of the river Eterna. The elder was torn apart by the mob. Whether from love, madness, or some other purpose, we do not know. At that very moment, the younger disappeared as well, gone in a flash of light, and so a brief but terrible time of troubles began. The people were lost, unsure of what to do. The twins had told them of the peak and the foot of the shining pillar. But before they could tell the people how to reach the peak and meet them in the hereafter, they were gone. 12 years passed between the day the twins died and the day Icetaeus, beloved disciple of the elder, described the twins as will, love, and law in his first book. And then, 2 years later, Icetaeus received his second revelation, and thus the second book was written. And in this book, the prophet taught us how to live a righteous life and earn a place at the peak of the shining pillar in the hereafter. And all the faithful found peace at last. With this understanding, the three lots came to be. You linger for a moment to listen to the sermon before moving on. You see a few armed men in the slums and almost no gendarmes. Anazet still seems so peaceful here, just like in the days of your youth. Men and women pass by on the narrow streets, busy with their lives. You hear children's voices in the yards. Two boys are pushing at each other by a fence. They are almost the same height, and both are thin with light brown hair. One of them shouts at the other, "Don't do that. Mom's gonna punish us. She told us to stop." His voice echoes in your head. The world around you ripples and quivers. The colors grow more vivid for a moment, then instantly turn pale. Everything is getting brighter and brighter. There's a light coming from the silver tree. It fills the slums. It hurts to look at it. A brilliant flash blinds you. The light drowns out everything. You see a crowd of people. Their faces are blurred and inscrutable, like faded old paintings. They are listening to a man's silhouette standing before them. You cannot hear his words, but you can feel the love emanating from him. It washes over everyone like a wave of warmth. He is a wise teacher offering guidance to his disciples. A peasant crawls up to the teacher on his hands and knees. He is harnessed to a plow. His reaches out in a desperate plea, and the teacher removes the peasant's harness. He holds him to his feet and hands him a sword. And in this act, there is love. You have felt this sensation only once before. You cannot remember when. It is unquestionable, endless, absolute. The softest touch, like a hand wiping the tears from a child's face. The next moment, another silhouette appears beside the first. Your heart skips a beat. Crime is always followed by punishment, inevitable, merciless retribution, the judge's sentence. This is right. This is how it must be. The judge is here, and he craves justice. The law is one, the same for all. The teacher is alone. His audience disappears, dissolving like shadows. The judge approaches, and the teacher steps toward him, his arms open in an embrace. The judge's sword suddenly rises to meet him. The image freezes before you. Both silhouettes disappear in the light of the silver tree. The sentence has been rendered, the lot fulfilled. And then you are surrounded by the slums of Anazet once again. The encircled cross of the twins feels hot against your chest, burning your skin even through your cassock. Your breath is ragged, the blood pounding in your temples. You've just experienced an inexplicable revelation, a vision given to those seeking answers, those such as Prophet Icetaeus. And this revelation is bursting out of you. It must be interpreted correctly. I cannot prolong the revelation. I could have done that if I had the Latari ritual. I would have lost 10 willpower, got +1 scheming, +1 valor, +1 diplomacy, and +1 manipulation. I can go to Jean. Tolerance of faith will go down by 1. Reputation will go up by 1. Jean will go up by 1. Or I can go to Father Leonard. Tolerance of faith will go up by 1. Reputation will go down by 1. Father Leonard will go up by 1. So I'm going to go to Jean. You walk for over an hour. In Anazet, the sun lingers for a long time in the heavens, but when the sky grows dark, dusk comes suddenly. You appear on Jean's doorstep at the very moment when the glow of the sunset gives way into the darkness. Romulus? I wasn't expecting it to be you. I thought it was one of the sisters. They often visit me at this hour. Well, come in, come in. Something happened? You enter. Her house is tiny, a single room with a bed, a small table, the icons of the twins, a shelf of books, and a narrow wardrobe. Jean offers you the only chair and sits on the edge of the bed. You sigh deeply a couple times, then begin to talk. Jean plies you with questions, asking you to describe certain details again and again. When you're done, you're both silent for a while. You've had a revelation. Actually, I think I know what it means. It means that even the twins have their own lots, just as we have ours. And just as they follow their lots, so must we follow ours. The elder is love, but for the sake of his love, he defied the law. He took away the people's preordained lots and gave them others. What the elder did, he did because he could not act in any other way, such as the lot of love. And the younger did what he did because he could not act in any other way. He had to punish his brother for his crime, for the younger is the law. He is the judge and the executioner. And it is the nature of the law that everyone must find the punishment they duly deserve, even if that someone is a god. Could you please tell the people of Aradella about your revelation during tomorrow's sermon? You agree. The next day you preach a sermon by the silver tree. Your words are met with outrage among the new believers, but the nobles and old believers receive it well. Your sermon is further proof of their right to rule, and the common folk are reminded that the lots are unshakable. That evening, to your surprise, Stefan greets you at the door of the family home. He looks at you with uncustomary admiration. I was at your sermon today. The way you reminded the people of their duties was truly inspirational. The twins sent you this revelation so you could put those heretics and their false ideas in their place. I'm sure of it. And so are all of the other nobles who were at the silver tree today. The old Vermins and the El Velascos send their warm regards. You thank him. Perhaps your brother would like to share a prayer with you. Together you kneel before the icons of the twins and thank them. And the trembling candlelight, the younger's image seems to give you a slight nod of approval. Alright, so Jean's now affectionate. The faith is right back down to 0, and hopefully this won't trigger another event. And we have a modest reputation in our family. So yeah, again, that I've mentioned this before, but the way it seems that the twins seem to be, it reminds me of the 100,000 Kingdoms. Again, I've mentioned this story a few times across several different playthroughs of different games, but in the 100,000 Kingdoms, there are 3 main gods. There's a Tempest, the god of order. There's Nahadoth, the god of chaos. And there's also, I can never remember the third god, but I think her name is Enitha or something like that. But they can't do anything but be themselves. And actually there was a different god before that, I think. But anyway, the 3 balance each they balance each other out. And those 3 gods maintain balance for a long time until jealousy takes over one of them, and then Enitha is killed. And when Enitha is killed, Nahadoth ends up getting bound, and everyone ends up worshiping a Tempest, but this causes a lot of problems because, of course, Nahadoth's whole point is chaos, and it's a lot of issues. But that's a common thing that you will read throughout the entire series, is that they can't be anything but who they are. So at the end of the day, a Tempest tries very hard to learn new things and to not be so strict, but he demands order because that is his nature. And it's the same way with Nahadoth. Nahadoth goes around and ends up creating a bunch of demon childs and stuff like that because his whole point is chaos. He can't do anything but be chaotic. He can't do anything but constantly need change. So he's always changing, which is always a problem. So yeah, now that I think about it, I think Nahadoth is the god of change. He's not necessarily the god of chaos, but chaos and change kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting that this is similar to how these gods work. The younger is the one that always deals out the justice. The older is the one that always looks for love and passion. And there's hints of another, either it being the will or a shadow or something else. So I like that. That's very interesting. I just wish some of this stuff would come up in the other playthroughs, because you never get the full context of the lots and everything in the story. So, like, I didn't even know that they died. I just thought they left this world. But in this one, it says that they died on opposite ends. So, interesting. This event is a consequence of your previous action. Gloria has to be greater than or equal to 1. Oh. Conditions met. Gloria greater than or equal to 1. Indifference. Stefan Brante does not have the secret plot. Your home is quiet tonight. Father is away arbitrating disputes in migrant villages. Stefan is visiting one of his high-placed patrons. After a dinner spent in silence, everyone retreats to their chambers. You are about to retire for the night when Gloria calls out to you. Romulus, wait a minute. I have an important favor to ask you. Your sister leads you to her long-time refuge, the library. Here in the shadows between the bookcases, you will not be overheard. Brother, I wish to speak with you before Stefan returns. His scheming is becoming unbearable. It is beyond Sir Robert's power to stop him, let alone Mother or Nathan. You're my only hope. You shrug. All families argue from time to time, but every quarrel has to end sooner or later. Yes, it will end, when Stefan finally gets rid of me. As far as he's concerned, I'm just a stumbling block and a stain on his father's good name. He lets me stay in this house only to avoid causing a scandal in high society. But as soon as the Brontes get his precious nobility of the sword, I'll be out on the streets in the blink of an eye. Romulus, you don't want for me to get kicked out of the family, do you? Please help me. I need to convince Sir Robert to adopt me and make me legitimate. After that, it won't be so easy for Stefan to dispose of me. And then I won't bear the stigma of being a bastard anymore. I know Sir Robert would agree, if only by the virtue of the love he has for our mother, but Stefan is standing in his way. Tell me, will you help me? An illegitimate child who has never known her father, a stranger in the family. Gloria looks at you with hopeful, pleading eyes. If. Okay, I'm going to refuse her, which is gonna bring... it's gonna basically make her hate me. It'll bring the unity of the family up. It'll give me more willpower, but yeah, she's definitely gonna hate me for it. But if I turn around and help Gloria, that's gonna cause a lot of problems later on, and it's also gonna completely obliterate all the other stuff that I've been working on. So yeah. You refuse your sister. The world doesn't work the way she would like it to. She is a commoner and an illegitimate child. Why pointlessly revolt against it? Gloria is demanding too much from Sir Robert. Adopting Gloria as his daughter would be too dangerous. The Bronte family's position is precarious enough as it is. You will not scheme to pressure your father or Stefan into this. Every word you utter makes Gloria flinch as though she were struck by a lash. Her empty eyes wander around the room, avoiding yours. I shouldn't have opened my heart to you. This is my predicament and mine alone. Good night, brother. You go back to your bedroom, craving the oblivion of sleep, but you keep tossing and turning restlessly. Will your words compel Gloria to give up on her plea? No, you can tell by the way she answered this that she's not going to turn around and give up on this. All right. We almost have harmony. I'm sure something is going to screw it up. A confession. The servant wakes you up in the middle of the night. There is a visitor, a champion of faith with an urgent note. You unfold the scrap of paper. Meet me at the silver tree. It is urgent. Jean. You know, Jean, maybe you should have gave me that yourself. She would not summon you so late unless it were truly important. Something has happened. Is Jean in danger? The shining pillar is particularly bright tonight, its light merging with the glow of the silver tree. Jean is not by the temple door. She is a bit further away in the square. She greets you and leads you under one of the tree's enormous roots. It is twisted and bent, forming a peculiar kind of grotto. Romulus, there is something I must tell you. You are the only person I can bare my soul to. Under the silver tree, no one can ever tell a lie. I will be completely honest with you. Please offer me your guidance. Or if I am to suffer for all eternity in the hereafter, then tell me this too. Slowly you nod in return. The silver tree's tranquility fills you. The woman who stands before you is not an inquisitor right now. At this moment, she is a human, a person with all her weaknesses, mistakes, and inner conflicts. Of course, you tell her you would be glad to offer her guidance. Jean sighs heavily. She is terrified, but her resolve is stronger than her fear. The twins are law and will and love. This is what we tell everyone who comes to us for help. This is what we say so many times a day in prayer. Their law is clear to me, and I can feel their will everywhere. But what do I do about love? How am I supposed to tell their love from the worldly love that no priests are ever allowed to feel? Do you remember when we first met? It was here, a lifetime ago. We both belonged to the common lot back then. I took your hand in mine. I wanted to keep you safe at the temple, safe from the corrupting teachings of Photis. And that's when it all began. I can still remember how you blushed. All my life, service to the twins has been my only truth. I've known my path and sacrifices I had to make ever since I was a little girl. I'll never be a wife or a mother. I'll never live a life of pleasure. I have been given the gift of truth. I am the one who must bring their word into the world. But you, every day I spend with you is agony. I've gone astray. The light of the twins used to be my beacon, but you're blocking it out. This is wrong. I've prayed to the twins again and again to set me free from this emotion. I tried so hard to purge the thoughts of you from my mind, tried to see you as a test they have sent me, but I can't. You are my sin, my torture, my love. I cannot hide from this. Show me the way, please. You're the only one who can do this, and no one else. Jean's hazel eyes are full of tears. The branches of the silver tree glow softly above you. She's right. There's no hiding from love. You cannot resist it, should you even try. This is a place of honesty, and this love, it fills you both. It asks no questions as it guides you towards one another with great certainty. You take a step closer to Jean. Your heart is beating so hard, it feels as though your ribs are about to break. Then awkward, uncertain, but utterly sincere, a kiss. For one moment, Jean is paralyzed in your arms. Then she responds with passion, with all the love she has professed. This feeling, this emotion, so sincere, so strong, it is a gift from the twins. This touch feels so unfamiliar to you, so frightening to her. Your bodies have never known it before, bound and shackled by years of taboo. But right now, you are both guided by something more than attraction and lust. This is love, profound and absolute, that which only they may give. With a sense of awe, you remove the veil from her head. Her hair, it has been so long you forgot what color it was. It is blonde, and it shines like a halo in the silver tree's glow. Jean moves away from you. Her finger caresses your neck. You cover her palms and wrists with kisses and undo the buttons and belt on her clothing. The fallen leaves are soft, like the softest bed as you lay her down. You cross a line you must not cross, but the power of divine love is irresistible. Oh, that's what you want to call it. Sure. There are no more secrets between you. You close your eyes. Sight is only a distraction now. You find her lips blindly. You share in her passion, relish her tenderness, and put her fears to rest. And she responds to you in kind, in perfect unison. All is just as it should be. Warmth spreads throughout your bodies, like a roaring fireplace on a rainy autumn day. Like a long conversation with those you hold most dear, honest and awe. You have never felt so alive. This is more than mere intimacy. So much more. It is stronger than both of you. Time has been shattered. Minutes pass, hours, or perhaps just seconds. Together, you seem to share a furtive glance at an entire life you never lived. You lie down by her side, out of breath. Jean nestles closer to you. Her fingers trace the contours of your chest as you stroke her hair. When the sunrise finds you, it catches you by surprise. Jean's body is illuminated by the sun. She blushes and turns away. You fumble for your clothes, averting your gaze and trying in vain to hide your physical and spiritual nudity. You do not look at each other until your bodies are clothed again. We can't deny this. We can't pretend it didn't happen. But what do we do now? It was an illusion. Jean will go down by 1, and she will be completely pissed at me. These feelings are real. We will get the willpower +5. We will get Jean +1 also. I would have liked this. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. But I can't get this because Jean had to have a relation greater than or equal to 2. What? That doesn't make any Oh, Jean had to be wavering. Okay, she had to be wavering. So that was that other decision. I think before, if I would have healed her, then I think that's what would have happened. So it still would have gave me this, but yeah. These feelings are real. So yeah, let's go with that. Forbidden fruit. What happened between you is love. The love. Their love. You cannot deny this fact. You cannot reject this truth. For your bodies, love and passion are forbidden. This is the law. But no one ever said that priests cannot love one another in spirit. You will be together, for this is your soul's desire. No one will ever learn of what happened last night. It is between you, Jean, and the silver tree. And none of the guards that were standing nearby or around anywhere saw this. It was out in the open. They don't have guards around there. Are you kidding me? All right. Even the guard that delivered the note didn't see this. Jean smiles in return. An open smile, an honest smile, a smile without fear. Yes, you're right. True love does not need the union of the flesh. We'll be together without it. You are dear to me. I need you, and I'm so happy you feel the same way. You emerge onto the morning streets of Anazet and walk away from the silver tree's branches. You are smiling. A smile of joy glows on Jean's face. You are loved. You are happy. For such is the will of the twins in your own souls. All right, so we have grown close, and Jean now has affection for me, and she's maxed out. And I am now prepared for anything. Closeness with Jean in the year of 1142. Despite all doubts, you and Jean became close. All right, and now we move to the year 1143. And we have the last straw, which we all know is just Sophia and the Shadow Chancellery. And is that what they're called? The Secret Chancellery. not the shadows translating. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here, and in the next episode, I guess we'll go ahead and finish up the peacetime chapter. So if you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. I have a lot of things on the channel, including my previous playthroughs of the life and suffering of Sir Brante, and I will have many other things in the future. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and I will be more than happy to get to you about it. You want to have discussions about certain things, like some of the books that I've read that kind of reminds me of certain things like this, or anything at all, feel free to leave it in the comment section. So yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. See ya.